Fam, I want to apologize. I had a technical difficulty. It looked like my computer crashed. So if you're still with me, I hope you are. Rejoin the broadcast. I was saying something, and I wanted to make sure to repeat that. But essentially, fam, I'm not gonna keep beating on a dead horse. We are that sunk cost fallacious people, right? We have been investing continually in the Democrats, right? They've embraced, feminist ideals and so on and so forth. Hey, black man, I see you, fam. I'm glad that you're back on the broadcast with me. They've embraced ideas, lifestyles, mores, folk ways that we as black folk ain't necessarily 100% comfortable with, right? But in our support of them, we've set aside our own reticence to address things in the way that we would address them. And we have gotten literally, fam, nothing to show for it, right? At some point, for our sanity, for our health, right? For our peace of mind, fam, we have to chalk what we've invested in the Democrats we just have to chalk it up as a loss. We have to charge them to the game. I don't know how else to say it. Peace, Sister Tanzonia. Welcome to the broadcast. It is really good to see you. Happy Sucka-Free Saturday to you. Fam, the sunk cost fallacy operates in a lot of different spheres. But for us as black folk politically, the sunk cost fallacy is killing us, right? Think about this, fam. You have drag queens going into public libraries having reading hour with your children. How many of y'all are really, truly, honestly comfortable with that? I'm not saying anything about drag queens. I don't have no hate toward them, no animus toward them, nothing. But how many of you are comfortable with your children being read story time to by drag queens? Up here where I live in King County, we had a damn drag queen reading story hour to kids and started stripping. Like, what? In front of children. And of course, the area in which I live is a liberal bastion of Democrats. It seemed like for the Democrats, fam, every damn thing goes. Except you, your interests, your desires, your political goals and aims, your wishes get swept under the carpet. They either refuse to address them, like you go to Bernard Sanders, is like, reparations, you're like, well, I'm not sure what that means. Get the fuck out of here. He knows what that means, right? So they either refuse to address your issues, or even worse, so fam, I'm going to tell you what tears it for me about the Democrats, why I won't, and I'm speaking for Mark Black, right? Not for you. Do as you feel, as you see fit. Vote down ballot, do whatever you want. But for Mark Black, what tears it for me, why a Democrat won't even get my vote for dog catcher, you feel me, is the fact that at the end of the day, everybody is able to put their hand out and expect something and have that expectation at least acknowledged by the Democrats, except me, except you and I. Fam, damn it. This isn't me going against Yvette and Tone. I don't even want this to be about me, Yvette and Tone. I'm only referring to it because Yvette brought it up, and I feel like that is something that warrants a discussion. But in point of fact, the idea that somehow or another we are going to show the Democrats who's boss, and we're going to run the tables in 2020. We're going to show up and show out, and they're going to have to hear us Fam, I'm sorry, but it's bullshit. When he was kicking your ass back in 1995 and he came back to you with flowers and said it's never going to happen again. Then he kicked your ass in 1996. Did he hear you? You wasn't packing up your shit to go. So what was it that he needed to hear from you? Right? When she was eating up every dollar out your bank account, spending it on her side, dude. You know what I'm saying? Tricking off with him, buying him cars and so on and so forth. And you finally say, hey, I can't deal with this no more. You need to stop this. And she's like, you right, baby, I ain't right. I'm going to get it right. But then she do it again 6 months down the line. What incentive does she have to listen to you? More importantly, fam, what incentive do you have to keep investing in that? Right? Somebody mentioned earlier in the chat about low self-esteem voters. I could not fucking agree more. We act like a people that have no fucking esteem when it comes to politics. They keep telling us, oh, you're an idiot if you go talk to the Republicans, right? The Republicans have already showed us they don't give a shit about us and this, that, and the third. Well, so are the Democrats. So what you're saying is essentially that it's okay to take the L from the Democrats, but it's not okay to take the L from the Republicans. Because at some point you're taking an L, right? The Republicans just refuse to even come and talk to us because we have made it clear we don't want to hear shit they got to say. Even though if you look at our culture, if you look at our ethics, if you look at our mores, many of us find ourselves in a place of more conservatism than we do liberalism. But we don't want to hear shit from Republicans because racist. Right? So we done bit on to this whole racism thing. Like, fam, I'm not saying that racism isn't an issue. I'm not saying white supremacy doesn't exist. Do not misinterpret your boy. What I am saying, though, is this. It exists on both sides of the political spectrum. You are not, as ADOS, going to avoid the taint, if you will, of racism, whether you're dealing with Democrats or you're dealing with Republicans. So if the Democrats have had our loyalty, if we have sunk so many decades of investment into their political offices, their political positions, their political power, right? Meanwhile, we've elected Democratic governors, we've elected Democratic mayors, we've elected Democratic state representatives and state senators, and what do our communities look like? And all of the blame for our communities looking like the way they are isn't on us wilding out, gang banging, slanging drugs, not wanting to work. No. These people have had their hands on the fucking purse strings, and we have given them our votes, our loyalty, our love. We have given them our imprimatur, and we have said, go ye therefore and do the good work. Fight the good fight. And they be like, yep, I'm going to fight the good fight. Meanwhile, they back the corporate interests who gentrify our neighborhoods. They back privatization, which puts pollutants in water, puts pollutants in our air supply. They back interests that eliminate small businesses in our communities so the big box stores take over that we can't afford to shop in, right? And then when we have something to say about it, right, when we come to the Democrats and we say, hey, wait a minute, okay, we've backed you when you supported, trying to treat immigrants with respect and decency and this, that, and the third. But meanwhile, they're taking work from us because we're the people that are on the bottom and so on and so forth, right? We have concerns. We get told, y'all are right-wingers. Y'all are MAGA. Y'all are xenophobes. Huh? We've backed y'all no matter what the fuck, no matter what fuckery the Democrats embrace to this day, we've backed them. It don't matter what it is, whether it's gender shit, sexual shit, drug shit, like, supporting legalization of drugs and this, that, and the third. We backed every fucking play that the Democrats have laid down. Every single one. And the first time, to show you how little respect they have for you, local, state, and federal, show you how little respect they have for you, the very first time you stand up and say, but I have an issue with, they want to come out and tell you more universal programs and shit. They want to tell you that you are a xenophobe, that you're a hater, that you're a nativist. So everybody else can go to the Democrats with their concerns, right? There was an LGBTQIA whatever summit or hearing or whatever the case may be. You see what I'm saying? And this little kid gets up and says to Elizabeth Warren, tell me what you're going to do if you're elected president to make sure that all I have to do is focus on my homework. Like, that ain't his parents' job. You feel me? And she's talking about Jacob to this little girl, right, who identifies as a boy. Because now they're sexualizing your motherfucking children. And I guess we're supposed to back that too, right? The Democrats are fully 100% on board with, their body, their choice. Even though all the statistics, see, fam, we talk about grounding ourselves in the data until it comes time to actually ground ourselves in the data. That's right, fam. Because if we were truly grounding ourselves in the data, we would be somewhere in the neighborhood of 18 to 20% of the population in the United States if it were not for our rampant support of abortion. Now, I am not, as a man, telling you as a woman what to do with your body, right? The law says it's your choice, it's your right. But let's face facts. Abortion has killed a whole bunch of black folks before they ever even came out of the womb. But if you say something against that to Democrats, shit, you can hang up any support they may have for you. My body, my choice. Okay, cool, right? But I'm just saying, fam, we've backed every fucking flighty, weird, strange idea that the Democrats have embraced. Every single one. Every single one. Name me an idea that the Democrats have supported as a party platform or as a plank in their party platform that black folk have not supported, full stop. Even in spite of whatever reticence or concerns that we may have. So let me ask you a question, fam. Now that we understand a little bit the sunken cost fallacy, we understand that throwing good money after bad money isn't a recipe for winning, it's a recipe for continued losing. At what point do we cut the connection? Do we say, la, 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 can't hear you? Sure. Right? Now that we've been talking about what it is that we want, now that we've been demanding what it is that we need, now that we've been pressing home this justice claim, the Democrats can't fucking stand us. And you know who's the worst of the worst? The so-called progressives. The so-called progressive left has attacked ADOS more than anybody. I've gotten more support, more love, more respect from some of my so-called right-wing brothers and sisters, excuse me, fam, than I have from so-called progressives and liberals. Remember, fam, Bernard Sanders is supposed to be a socialist, the left of the left. And this motherfucker act like he don't even know who the hell we are. You want to hear rancor being directed at ADOS? Go talk to a socialist or a communist about ADOS's justice claim and see what you get. I'm just saying. You don't believe me? Do it. Go talk to some motherfucking socialists. Go talk to communists, people that most of the time in America can't even get a hearing because it's so far to the damn left. Go and ask them about your justice claim and see what they have to say to you. Because I can promise you, you can ask Yvette, you can ask Tone, we haven't seen vehemence against us as ADOS until we heard it from socialists and communists, the so-called left. You feel me? When it comes to us, it doesn't matter if they're left or right, unless they are clearly full-throated, unabashed in support of our aims and interests. They're on the same boat with all the rest of the white supremacists, right? You got folk like when people mention Roland Martin talking about we influenced by Russians, like black folk can't think on their own. See what I'm saying, fam? Sunk cost. 50, 60 years. We've backed these fools. And we've watched them practice their social experiments. We've watched them play Molly Hobb with finances and deficits and so on and so forth, to the point where our communities are decimated from our support from these fools. But if you stand up and you say that, if you stand up and you look black folk in the eye and say your support of Democrats has destroyed your fucking community, you know what they call you? They call you a Trump supporter. They call you an agent. They say you love white folks. You should go over there and be with them damn Republicans. When I say get grounded in the data, fam, I mean just that. The data doesn't give a fuck about our feelings, fam. The data doesn't care about our feelings, right? There's some real shit that's being spoken by ADOS. ADOS who are both on the left, right, who are liberal ADOS, and by ADOS who are on the right, by more conservative ADOS. There is real truth being spoken by both groups. And to focus solely on the political impetus for one side as opposed to the other one, it just don't seem like a recipe for winning for me, fam. I assume that your advocacy of our justice claim is so that one day we will see the reality of our justice claim. We will see the fruition of our justice claim. Since 1976, every presidential Democrat who's gotten into office rode into office on our vote. And what did we get from them? We didn't get shit from Carter. We didn't get shit from Ford. A few government jobs, right? We didn't get shit from Bill Clinton's 2 terms. We didn't get shit from Barack Obama's 2 terms, right? How long are you going to be in this relationship, fam? How long are you going to be in this relationship with this party that you've given your love, your loyalty, hell, your vote? How long before you finally say, you know what? Now I'm good. I'm good. You couldn't get me to vote for you if you was coming and giving me $500. I wouldn't do it, right? If we're really, truly in this, in my humble opinion, to win, right? The only real winning in this is through a different action. If you're in a bad relationship, okay, to go back to our analogy, you've got essentially 2 options, right? One of which will have an effect and one of which will not. Your first option, You can continue to look for excuses, reasons, justifications, right? For why it is that you're being treated the way you're being treated. You could say, he's just like that when he had a rough day at work. Or, well, she got a job too. The money's half hers, and so on and so forth, right? You can continue to justify the relationship. You can continue to tell yourself, hey, I've got so much into this, I can't afford to lose it. Or you can do what people who ground themselves in reality do. You can say, this shit ain't working, it ain't been working, and it's time for me to step off. You don't need to hear nothing from them, right? You don't need to have an argument with them, right? You don't need to sit there and say, and this is the reason why I'm walking the fuck up out of here and blah, say, skibbity woo. No, fam. No. Trust me, I'm telling you from experience, unfortunately, right? You get your shit, you pack it up, you put it in your car, and you get the fuck gone. And then if you want to have continued discussion, you're having that discussion from a place of safety, from a place of peace, from a place of quietude, where you can think clearly, right? Where you're not being buffaloed by the bullshit. Because remember, if you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with bullshit. When you pack your shit and go, then when you have interaction with that individual, you are having interaction with that individual on your terms. Now, how does that translate into the political sphere? Well, it's very simple, fam. We can continue to make justifications for our continued support for Democrats across the board, whether it's local, state, regional, or federal. We can continue to say there's always one, right? And no offense, but the Democrat is better than the Republican, right? We can always continue to tell that narrative, right? If we don't vote for the Democrat, we're going to get this scary Republican, right? He's talking about doing this and doing that, even though the fact is the Republicans never really do anything actually much worse. Like, if you want to talk about being grounded in the data, fam, okay, let's talk Turkey, right? Let's talk Turkey. Conservatives, right? They said George Bush, Shrub, right, Jr., Walker Bush, was a small government conservative, right? And he had Dick Cheney and all the rest of them with him, Wolfowitz, and they was going to kill the government. Why is it then that the damn federal budget for the government ran the largest deficits it ever had ran in the history of the country under a so-called small government conservative? Any of you ask yourself that? Right? They supposed to be so conservative. They supposed to be, keep the government out my business and this, that, and the third. When's the last time you seen the Republicans actually eliminate a government program? Or I'm talking about eliminate a government program that was benefiting a whole bunch of Americans. Sure, they're going to always come in and cut welfare and all that stuff. You know why? Because it's easy targets. That's easy, slim pickings. When's the last time you heard a conservative, though, talk about taxing churches, for example? Churches have been involved in politics against the law forever in the month of Sundays. When's the last time you heard about a conservative that said, well, if y'all going to be involved in politics, then politics is going to be involved with you. From now on, y'all pay taxes like everybody else. When's the last time you heard a conservative actually do some shit like that? When's the last time you've actually seen them be the conservatives that they claim that they are? Small government. Keep the government out your business. You feel me? Like, let's keep it a buck. Y'all get hung up on these buzzwords like they actually mean something when a conservative is no more than a glittering generality. Because when someone says that they're a conservative, the very first question that we've been taught as proponents and advocates for ADOS is to ask, what the hell do you mean by conservative? Define your terms. Dr. Neely Fuller says that whenever somebody uses a word that could be a weasel word, right, that can be nebulous, that can be interpreted so many different ways, your job in doing your due diligence as ADOS is to ask them, what the fuck do they mean by conservative? What do you mean by progressive, right? Because we need to be asking those same questions to the Democrats. They say, we're progressives. Okay, what the fuck do you exactly mean by progressive? Well, we're here to support the aims of people of color. So what do you mean by people of color? Right? You need to be pinning these bastards down like bugs on cardboard. You need to know exactly, fam, what it is that they mean when they use these terms. And you need to hold them to that. Exactly. What do you mean by diversity? What does that mean specifically? What do you mean by working class Americans? What does that mean specifically? Right. Oh, thank you, unsunken one. Thank you. And wait for the answer. Don't give them some. So do you mean? No, don't say shit like that. You ask them directly what it is they mean, and you hush your face and you let them tell you. And when they tell you what it is that they mean and what they are, the next step is believe them. So when Kamala Harris said, so I'm not going to just come out and say I'm going to do anything specifically for black people. No. Believe her ass. It's not that hard. When Cory Booker talks about, reaching out the hand of love and understanding the point of view of a white American, white male American, believe his ass. Be like, yeah, you go over there and you understand them. Let's see here. Truck driver says, so let's be clear. Yvette and Tone want us to vote down ballot, and Mark Black is low-key trying to thwart that plan before we get to see what the after effects of voting down ballot will do. Suspect. Okay. Cool. You think I'm suspect? That's perfectly fine. So let me ask you a question. Why is it that you assume, first of all, that I'm against them? I'm not. I want the same thing that they want. I maybe have a disagreement with this particular strategy or this particular tactic, but no, I'm not against them. But here's a more important question. What makes you assume that that tactic hasn't been tried already before by black folk? That we haven't had other proponents and leaders and representatives of ours, right, that have came out and said, we need to vote down ballot, but don't vote, don't support them national folk, right? Why do you assume that this is a new idea, that it is innovative, right? That this is something that is, wow, this hits the post and we just never done anything like this before. Why do you assume that? Right? Because the only way that what you're saying, truck driver, would be correct would be as if this were some sort of innovative new thing that has never been done. But we know clearly that we've established in the past that even though we have not, been happy with the Democrats, that we've been willing to go vote down ballot for them. This isn't new. As a matter of fact, fam, truth be told, that's what happened in 2016. We had a lot of people show up, but they didn't vote nationally. They couldn't vote for Clinton or for Trump. That's voting down ballot. They voted for other shit, but they could not vote. Thank you, VLB. Somebody have my back here, right? None other than Dr. Eddie Glaude back in 2016 advocated voting down ballot. This is not a new tactic. This is not something that black folk have not heard and said, that might work, and haven't tried it. I'm just keeping it a buck. So, truck driver, you're entitled to say that you think that I'm undermining, but see, again, you're not coming with any data. Because the data suggests that if we continue to vote for Democrats, whether down ballot, national or not, we're going to continue to get the same thing that we've been getting, which is nothing. Nothing says I'm done with you like leaving. I'm sorry. I'm not saying run to the Republicans. You have never once, truck driver, put a 1 in the chat if you've heard me say we need to run to the Republicans. Since I'm so suspect, right? Since I'm such an underminer, right? The agent in the room, put a 1 in the chat if you have ever heard me say we need to run to the Republicans. Go ahead. I'm not telling you to go to the Republicans. I'm telling you to get away from the fucking Democrats. One is not the other one. Right? Thank you. Like, how long is it that we are going to keep going to the Democrats with our concerns only to be disrespected, to be neglected, to be ignored, and then still continue to give them the most powerful weapon that ADOS has right now, which is our vote? When will we stop that? So if we vote down ballot, if that's going to be the thing, fine. I'll stop harping on it. As a matter of fact, this is the last broadcast I'm actually going to address it. Because I personally think that addressing sunken cost should be enough, to be quite honest. We're never going to recoup what we've invested in the Democrats. We're never going to get those votes back. We're never going to get that political power and that missed opportunity for advocacy back. At some point, we need to cut our losses, hold the L, and say we're done with them. Nothing says I'm done with you than like walking out. Nothing says I'm finished dealing with you by other than stopping dealing with them. Right? Like I'm trying to find a way, right? I'm trying to find a chain of logic where you can continue to interact with somebody, but say that you're not interacting with them. Like, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to make that make sense. So we're trying to make the Democrats see that we're serious, but we're not threatening to leave the Democrat Party en masse, nor are we looking at any other candidates other than Democrats, and we're going to support them down ballot, but just not on the national tip. Yeah, that's the way. Huh? I agree. Look, Zulu, we wouldn't be holding an L. We would actually be winning, in my humble opinion, if we told the Democrats to fuck off. If we made it clear, en masse, all 38 million ADOS in this country, right? If we made a concerted effort to just tell them all, nope, we're not voting for you for city council. We're not voting for you for dog catcher. Good luck getting any office without us. Wouldn't that tell them that we're serious, that we're on some serious business? Wouldn't that tell them more than anything we could possibly do that we're not playing with them? I'm just saying, like, explain to me how what I'm saying is somehow oddball. If we actually said, nope, we're done with you. And if the Republicans make us an offer we can't refuse, then fuck you forever. What would say that we're serious more than that? I would love to know. Who do we vote for then, Tanzonia? That's a great question. That is a great question. And here's the thing. I don't want you to ask me that question, Tanzonia. You know why? Because the point of fact is that there are candidates who are willing to come to you. Not enough of them, not nearly enough of them. But there are candidates that will come to you in your community, Tanzonia, and come to you and say, I need you, and would be willing to bring you something. That's who you vote for. If politics is an exchange, then all Mark Black is saying is get an exchange. Voting down ballot for somebody who won't even take your fucking calls, who won't show up when you say, you know, hey, we're gathering here, come show up. Or when they do show up, they talk out the side of their neck. They come to black conferences like the Ebony Conference and this and the third, and they talk about immigration, and they talk about LGBTQIA, and they talk about this and talk about that, but they never talk about you. They talk about free college for everybody and free medical care for everybody and free this for everybody, but they never get around to talking to you about you. Then don't vote for them. That's how hard can this be? How hard can this be? Vote for the people that come and tell you what they're going to give you in return for your vote. And unfortunately, fam, if nobody does it, then you may have to refrain from voting. You may have to refrain. We need representation. What if we don't get candidates like that? Then we are back where we started. We're stuck between a rock and a hard place. No, not at all, Tanzonia. Because that is also why your brother Mark Black has been mentioning about the need for the development of a black PAC, right? We can get representation, but we cannot get representation if we are not making the efforts needed to get it, right? We're going to have to put some skin in the game. Freedom ain't free. And I'm sorry that I have to keep harping on that, but we're going to, at some point, have to engage with politicians, both D's and R's. We can get our own goddamn candidates. The Justice Democrats did. The Wolf Pack, ran by Cenk Uygur, and Anna Kasparian of the Young Turks, the Wolf Pack, they got AOC in the office, Ayanna Pressley in the office, Ilhan Umar in the office, Rashida Tlaib in office. They went and chose the candidates that they wanted and put their bank behind those candidates and got them into office. Until then, what do? We do what we need to do, which is to fall the hell back away from the Democrats. We have to fall back. We have to. We cannot continue to support a group of folk that have made it clear that they don't support us. That they don't support us. Branch out and look at other candidates. In some areas where y'all live, the Greens run people on the local level all the time that nobody ever votes for, right? Go check them out. Or better yet, ask them to come and speak to you. Make these folks start coming to you. We need to change the way that we have been interacting politically with the people that's out there. We've been waiting for them to come to us, and then get mad when they don't come to us. They got no incentive to. We got to put some skin in the game. I know this, Unsunken One. So who better should have some political action going on than us? Why should they have their voices heard more than us? Well, I can tell you why. Because they're putting skin in the game. It's as simple as that. You know, the thing that I find the most interesting is that Black conservatives understand this without even being told this. It is only us Black liberals, because I actually consider myself somewhat of a liberal, right? But it's only us Black liberals who don't seem to grasp the idea that unless we get someone coming into our face telling us what's what, they ain't gonna get our vote, right? Black conservatives have no problem with putting skin in the game. That's one thing I figured out. You can say what you will about Black conservatives. You can call them coons, bootlicks, Sambos, white supremacy apologists. You call them whatever the fuck you want. You have and you will. But one thing that they understand clearly is they ain't gonna get nowhere unless they're willing to put some skin in the game. Why do you think there's so many Black business people that are conservative? Because they understand shit costs. I want to get in front of a politician, I'm gonna have to put something up. But it's us liberals who think that just being loud and just having a meeting or something is going to change these motherfuckers. I'm sorry, but it won't. It won't. And we're not lazy, fam. We're not lazy if we refrain from voting for these bastards. Because it's not work. It's not our duty. See, fam, this is what I need you to understand. It is not your duty to vote. You owe no one your vote, right? You have no duty to vote. Now, this is not to say that Mark is on some old fuck the vote shit. I'm not. But what this is to say is stop acting like that you have a responsibility to vote. No, you don't. No, you don't. Like my mama used to tell me, fam, like your mother probably told you, I'm only obligated to stay black and die. I am not obligated to vote for anyone or a damn thing. If you want my vote, you are obligated. You have a duty to come and seek it out. Fam, I'm not asking you to do anything. I'm simply asking that you refrain from doing something. That you refrain from wasting your damn vote. That you refrain from voting for people who make it clear that they don't want to talk to you. They don't give a fuck about your interests. They don't care what you have to say. That's all I'm saying. Thank you. Vote for your ancestors. Vote for them. And my ancestors tell me that until such time as either one of these political parties is willing to take my claim, my justice claim, and the needs of my people seriously, I'm not obligated to do a damn thing for them. That's how I look at it, fam. It's not, I don't want you to keep thinking about, well, if I don't vote, then they're going to blame us for it. They blame us for every motherfucking thing anyway. That's what being the black sheep is all the fuck about. If you came over here to, you know, the Black Outcast Media Broadcasting Channel, and you weren't prepared to be a black sheep, I think you found yourself in the wrong place. Here, we understand that we are the scapegoat, the outcast, the ones who always get told we're the ones that in the wrong, except we know we're right. You're damn right. You're not obligated to the Democrats. Where did you get this idea that somehow or another, if you don't vote, you're being deleterious, derelict in your duty and your responsibility as a citizen and so on and so forth? Like, what the hell? No, you're not. Shit. I want them to come and blame us. Everybody's saying we need to show them, right? We need to show them. You feel me? We need to show them that we mean business. That we're serious, right? So then we say, okay, well, what happens if 38, oh, not 38, because that's women, men and women and children. But what if all voting age ADOS said, we ain't voting for none of y'all, up or down ballot? Wouldn't that be something clear to everybody involved when they went to the polls and there was no black people to poll? Right? Who did you vote for? What? I ain't vote for none of you motherfuckers. You sit here and act like you have the sole responsibility to ensure who gets what. No, you don't. We have to change up the game, fam. I'm sorry. We have to change up the game. You don't have no obligation to do a damn thing for either one of these political parties. Conversely, they have every obligation to come see about you. And if they are not coming to see about you, do yourself a favor come November 3rd. Don't waste your time and energy. You decide how you choose to interact politically with people who want who won't concern themselves with your interests, with what you need. Some of you are going to vote down ballot, and that's okay. I've already said I don't agree, but that's okay. I understand the sentiment. I understand why you're doing it. It's just sunken costs. That's that fallacious thinking that says that we've been with them. They owe us. Fam, the country owes us. America owes this debt to ADOS. Has America been in any hurry over the last 400 years to pay it? But you think voting down ballot in 2020 is going to somehow light a fire under their ass to make them pay it? I'm at a loss. And it's not like the idea is new. But us walking the fuck away from the Democrats and not supporting them no matter what position or office they running for, that's something we ain't tried. Y'all want to shit on me because I'm maybe casting aspersions at an idea we've tried before. We ain't tried walking away from the bastards. And I'm not talking about that whole Brexit walk away to the Republicans thing. I'm just talking about refraining from fucking with Democrats. We haven't tried that. We have not tried that at all. In 60 years, we have never once had a serious conversation as to whether or not the Democrats actually warrant our loyalty. We have not had no real serious discussion about that. Because the few black people that even broach the topic get shouted down. We get told that we don't know nothing, that we're just wanting to be bootlicks. I mean, make it make sense. Truck driver, whatever, man, whatever. Yvette and Tone can defend themselves. If they think that I am disrespecting them, they know how to come to me, and I would encourage them to do so. I am not, and I don't need to keep saying it. The fact is this has nothing to do with Yvette and Tone. I love Yvette and Tone. I don't love this so-called tactic. I'm sorry, I don't. I think it's a bullshit, bogus tactic. And I don't think it's going to work. And I have the right to express that opinion. My opinion is mine. But I've also brought information that buttresses, that supports my damn opinion. I've talked to you, fam, about sunk costs, about the idea of us somehow recouping something from our long-term investment in the Democrats and why that is fallacious thinking. I put the links there in the description of this video, down in the comments. Read the reports. There's one, okay, I'll show you. There's one published in a scientific journal of economics, a journal of economics, where they talked about sunken costs and why it's a problem. They talked about it from the psychological point of view. They talked about it from the economic point of view. It is clear that once you get caught up, whether individually or collectively, in the idea of sunken costs, that it will be hard for you to extricate yourself from a situation even when you're holding the L, because you cannot stop thinking about what you've put in as opposed to what you're going to put in. I don't want to keep thinking about what more I have to invest in the Democrats. I have invested enough. We, as a people, fam, have invested enough in them. That's all I'm saying. It is time for us to cut the purse strings. I don't give a damn what position they run for. We should not be supporting them. Why? Because they're Democrats. We supported them enough. That is all I'm saying. It don't have to be no arguments about the shit. It don't have to be no rancor. It don't have to be no hatred. Just like when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired and you pack your shit and you leave, it don't have to be no drama. It don't have to be no craziness. We don't owe the Democrats no explanation as to why we not voting for them. We just don't fucking vote for them. That's no good. They're no good. I don't need Republicans, by the way, to tell me that the Democrats are no good. The Democrats themselves have told me that they're no good. They have told me themselves that they're no damn good. This political campaign season, fam, I've lost count of the number of times that Democrats have disrespected us. Even ones that we thought would actually be on the team, right? Like for a while, I was supporting Tulsi Gabbard, right? To show you how much of a Republican and agent and, bootlick Sambo coon I am, right? I was supporting Tulsi Gabbard. I thought maybe she might be the one. Then during the damn debates, she comes out and defends Jim Crow Joe, knowing he was foul as a motherfucker. And I was on some Obi-Wan shit. I was like, yo, you were supposed to destroy the Sith, not become one of them. And I canceled her ass. And by the way, Tulsi Gabbard never once said that she stands for reparations, although she did sign H.R. 40. We keep moving the fucking goalposts too. I didn't, fuck it. I'm gonna go ahead and bring it up. Fam, we keep moving the goalposts. Yeah, I said it. I'm sorry, I couldn't hold it in. We keep moving the goalposts. Right? First we was on some, well, have y'all signed H.R. 40? Okay? And we was going at folk because they hadn't fucked with H.R. 40, that they hadn't co-sponsored H.R. 40. Then when people actually started reading H.R. 40 and saw that it was patent bullshit, right? Then it was like, no, we got to be on some different shit. We need H.R. 40 to be rewritten. But wasn't y'all just advocating last week that we signed H.R. 40? Right? Everybody talking about I'm pivoting, that I'm somehow, this flip-flopper, 1 minute I support motherfuckers, next minute I don't. Let's talk about it. I remember when we were all supposed to be advocating hardcore for our representatives to be co-sponsors of H.R. 40. And I supported that. I was in 100%, no questions asked. I thought it was a small ask. Now, to be fair, I had read H.R. 40 years ago, back when Conyers was sponsoring it every year when he was in office, when John Conyers was congressman and was putting up H.R. 40 every year. I had read it years ago. I knew what H.R. 40 was. Yet still, I thought as a litmus test, this makes sense. If we can't even get a Democrat motherfucker to support H.R. 40, then we already know what it is, right? So I was on board with that. But then when people started actually looking at H.R. 40 and saw that H.R. 40 just created some commission to study the possibility of paying us our due, black folk was like, wait a minute, fuck a study. We don't need no more studies. We know what the hell's happening. We know what you owe. But now we're talking about good faith investments in the black community, this, that, and the third, which again, I support 100%. How am I the flip-flopper? How am I the trader? I've rode on every damn train ADOS has been about since ADOS has been ADOS. That's real talk. But I do have a mind and I do have questions. And when you bring up a specific tactic, I have the right to say, wait a minute, what's up with that? We've tried this and it don't seem to work. HR 40 delayed shit, right? Voting down ballot is delayed shit. Exactly. The cool man, I said we should write our own reparations bill. Right, we shouldn't wait. But see, think about this, fam. Only a sitting congressperson or a senator can introduce legislation. Now, we've got a bunch of Democrats that are there in the House and the Senate who won't touch ADOS issues with a 10-foot fucking pole. But I'm the agent. I'm the trader. I'm betraying the ideals that Tone and Yvette stand for with ADOS when I suggest that perhaps we should start a PAC and put candidates of our own in there who will have no choice but be beholden to us to write the legislation that we need. I'm the agent? Make this shit make sense. How is that? Explain this to me. How am I hating on Yvette and Tone? I'm not. I love them. Fuck. I don't have to keep saying it. But this is some bullshit. This is a bullshit ass tactic. All this does is kick the damn can down the road. Pretty Muslimer, I'm going to tell you a truth. You know why I haven't started it? Because I'm nobody. I can't even get people to contribute $2 to my broadcast a lot of the time when I do a broadcast. You think if I ask people to contribute $10 a month, millions of black people to contribute $10 a month to give us instantly the biggest political action committee in the country, by the way, because I did the research. I talked about it on my last broadcast. If we had $100 million, we would far and away become the largest political action committee in the country instantly. The biggest political action committees in this country, right, only contribute about $1 million a year to actual political candidates. Meanwhile, they influence it with ad buys and with other stuff, right? Pretty Muslims like, start the pack. I'm going to have to strongly consider it. I'm not going to lie. Somebody's got to do it. Because I'm sorry, but continuing to do the exact same thing that we have been doing over and over and over and expecting some different result. Last time I heard, that's supposedly a definition for insanity. Is it doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result? Voting down ballot for Democrats is still voting for Democrats. It's insanity. Fam, with your permission, because I always remain accountable to you, I'm going to ask that you let me think on it. I'm not uninterested in the PAC, but I have concerns about me starting the PAC. I really do. I have concerns about it. First of all, I want to make sure to be transparent, accountable, because look, when you fucking with black folks' money, if they give you $5, they want to know everything. And I know this. I know this for a fact. And I'm not certain if that's a headache that I actually want to deal with. But I'm going to ask that you guys forbear. Let me consider it for a while. Give me give me a month to think about it, right? I promise you that before Christmas, I will either be announcing that I'm going to do it or I'm going to tell you why I won't do it. Fair enough? Is that fair enough? Put a 1 in the chat, fam, if you think that's fair. Give me a month to do my due diligence, to do my research, to think about exactly if I want to be engaged with this, right? And I can promise you that within a month, I will either be telling you that it is happening, right? I'm not going to come to you and say that, oh yeah, I'm going to do it. No, I'm going to show you the articles of incorporation. I am going to show you that I actually incorporated, have the EIN and everything, tax exemption, whatever's involved in it. I'm going to have it started, or I'm going to tell you why I won't. Some people are saying January. Okay, bet that. That would be a good New Year's gift for ourselves if I'm going to do it, to start our new PAC the first of the year, to start it off. Okay, right? I will consider it. And by January 1st, I will either be announcing the incorporation of our new ADOS PAC, or I will be telling you why I won't do it. All right? Deal? Okay, we good. Fam, I'm going to open up the lines. I realize that I have said a lot during this broadcast. Again, a lot of it has been emotionalized, misinterpreted. I brought information that simply suggested that I believe that we're acting in the sunk cost fallacy, that we're trying to recoup an investment that we've made in the Democrats that we have no hope of ever being able to recoup. And I think that we need to cut our losses and go ahead and move forward, right? But that being said, I have, again, nothing but love and respect for my brother and sister, Yvette and Tone. I don't give a damn what nobody say. So it is what it is. Um, yeah. 425-296-1980, fam. If you got something you want to say on what I've talked about today, if you got something else that you want to mention that's related to this topic, right? Please feel free to give me a call and jump in on this. I want to make sure that you get heard. Fam, one thing that I want to make clear is this. If you take nothing else away from, let's take this call real quick. Caller from 216, it's your man Mark Black. What's your name? Where you calling from? And what's on your mind?
Hey, Mark Black. This is man, Ohio.
Cool, man. How you doing, fam? It's good to hear from you. Go ahead and talk to us, fam.
Yeah, I just put something in the chat. I think that I like the idea of a pact. I just put another idea that we can do really immediately, which was we should consider boycotting the Democratic primary starting in December, in February.
I would agree.
If they have, something to wake the Democratic Party up and let them know that this is what's coming.
I agree.
This is what's coming, so that therefore, when we don't show up in November, we've been signaling it all along. We've been showing them all along.
Facts.
It will be on them. They can't put it on us. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, here's the thing, fam. I'm not the person. Okay, I'm not the person to tell all of us what to do. What I am, though, is someone who does pay attention to this thing. And I will be honest with you, I'm still at a loss as to how you figure out how to continue messing with somebody but not benefit them, right? Like if I'm saying I don't want to help you, right? If I'm saying that you're hurting me and you're doing me dirt, right? You're not helping me out. You're backstabbing me, right? You're against my interests, okay? And so I'm like, you're hurting me and I can't really mess with you like that. But then I still continue to have these little interactions with you. I'm trying to figure out how, how it is that I'm supposed to protect myself from you. Like, how am I supposed to ensure that I get what the hell it is that I need from you when you've already made it clear that when you get a chance, if I let you close, you're gonna do a number on me. Are you feeling where I'm coming from, fam?
Well, I'm feeling you 1,000%, Mark. And it's like you said, you started earlier about us being in a bad relationship. It's like you have to get out. You got to heal yourself. You got to get away from that person that's doing you harm.
It's so toxic.
Mm-hmm.
It's so toxic what we're going through with the Democrats. Fam, the thing that upsets me more than anything is the patent disrespect. We are the only voting demographic that the Democrats feel perfectly okay with telling us to go fuck ourselves.
How are you going to have a town hall about LGBT before reparations? How are you going to do that? LGBT affects about 1 to 2% of the people. Slavery and our experience affects at least 13% of the population for hundreds of years. How can you go?
How can you do it, fam? How can you do it? Like they did it. Like you see what I'm saying? We don't need to be questioning. We see what they're doing. Like, it would be one thing, fam, if we were conjecturing about the disrespect, about the, I'm not even going to call it benign neglect at this point, because it's clear that the neglect of us is not benign.
Neglect. It's malignant neglect.
Exactly.
It's an intentional desire to do harm.
It's intentional neglect, intentional disrespect. It is so patently clear at this point that the Democrats are on that I don't even see how we fix ourselves to be like, well, yeah, but we're gonna get them like one last shot. We just gonna slap them on the wrist. No, like, why are we giving the Democrats a slap on the wrist? If any Republican came out and disrespected us openly the way that the Democrats have, we would be on all of our media talking real clever. Like, we would be going the fuck off. Instead, what we're hearing from some Republicans, and we're hearing from the president specifically, is rather glowing language when it comes to references of ADOS, right? I remember earlier this year in August, in the celebration in Virginia of the founding of Virginia, 1619, right? Donald
Mm-hmm.
Trump called our ancestors sacred souls. Now let's be real, right? That don't mean Donald Trump loved black people, and I'm not arguing that. But when's the last time you heard any type of rhetoric like that from a damn Democrat? When's the last time you heard a
I
Democrat
agree.
say, your people built this country? Name one.
I I agree. And let me say this much: when I heard him say that and other things, I think he said something else about us building the country, a few days ago or something like that.
Yeah, he did.
When he makes comments like that, then that's our entree, that's our entry point to go in and say, what are you going to put behind that flowery rhetoric?
Look, Donald Trump, I watched what he said. Donald Trump said, he said in 2016, I gave a speech where I detailed some of the things that I would like to do for African Americans. And I asked them to take a chance with me. What do they got to lose? He keeps, in a lot of ways, reaching out, and we keep doing this. Nope, fuck Donald Trump. He a racist bastard. He tried to convict the Central Park Five. I get it, right? I'm not saying we need to be in love with the man, right? But I am saying the motherfucker is the president. If he's using rhetoric that tends to lead toward an opening, a rapprochement, right? In other words, a
Mm-hmm.
place where we can have a sit down, then how politically responsible are we being by simply refusing to engage with that, regardless of what the ultimate outcome will be? Right? Because there's a lot of times politically, you'll have two countries, fam, that'll sit down together, right, at the table, and they will get up from the table and not have solved the damn thing. But they had a sit down. You see what I'm saying? They had a sit down.
Yes.
That continues to keep the door open for further rapprochement, right? From further talks, further opportunities, and so on and so forth, right? That's all I think. I think, in my opinion, we do ourselves a disservice. We shoot ourselves in the foot when we make this, for lack of a better way to say it, a reform program for Democrats. I'm not interested
But see,
in reforming the
isn't
Democrats.
that a, isn't that a problem, Mark? That okay, right now we are so in the on the Democratic side that when the Democrats come out strongly against Trump, then it's hard for us to go over and begin to have those meetings that we need to have with Trump because of what the Democrats have gone before us and said, and then some of our leaders, I'm just saying that, just general leaders would say that, we're going to be hurting ourselves with the Democratic Party. And we're always concerned about what the Democrats think instead of saying we're ADOS first, we're black first, you
Yeah.
know? And I think that, and we don't owe allegiance to no one. That's what we have to come out and say, and that's what we have to be about, I think.
No, I'm
I
with
think,
you,
look,
fam. I mean, at the end of the day, our loyalties cannot be split, right? The scriptures, for those of you who are Bible readers, say that one cannot serve God and mammon. One will big up one master and ignore the other one, right? Nobody can have two masters, right? In other words, are we married to the party, or are we married to our interests? Because ultimately, trying to have this divided loyalty is not going to work. One is going to give way to the other one, right? I just simply would like that question to be brought to a head more sooner than later, right? Are we going to continue to be leashed to the Democrats, knowing what we know about them, right? Knowing that we know that they consistently disrespect us, leave us, kick us to the curb for everybody else's interests, knowing that we have been the most loyal voting demographic to them for decades and gotten nothing, right? Knowing what we know about them, will we continue our loyalty to them, or will we start to be loyal to what it is that we need in our interests? But we won't be able to keep both. And that's something I think that we need to either start to, or we need to make our peace with. We either will have the Democrats or we will have our agenda. But most likely, from the interactions that we've had with them up to now, we will not have both. And we're going to have to make a choice at some point. Fam, I'm going to go ahead and
Well
let you
said,
have the
bro.
last word.
Yeah, let me just say this last word. One of my concerns with the strategy is it keeps us in the practice of voting for the Democrats in 2020. We should be making our move in 2020. If we don't make the move now we're looking at 2024. We pushing back, our own agenda, possibly several years
Yeah.
if we don't make our statement this election cycle. That's all I want to say.
I feel you, brother, and I appreciate, as always, your feedback, your input. You always welcome. Thank you so much for your call, man. I absolutely agree with the brother 100%. We have engaged in what I would consider political wishful thinking a lot of the times. We've been on some, well, let's get the Democrat in office and then we can put their feet to the fire. No, fam. You put their feet to the fire before they get into office. Your job and my job as the voting populace is to make sure that all the pressure we can put on these bastards is put on them before they get the nod. Because once they get the nod, they can do whatever the hell they like. And if they have not been full-throated, unabashed, raw, 100% support of you and your interests prior to their election to office, they're not going to be once they're elected to office. Haven't we figured that out by now? Barack Obama came out and told us in 2007 that he was going to be the president for all America, not just Black America. And we refused to believe him. And we paid for it with 8 years of economic brutalization. We lost ground under the so-called first Black president who was a Democrat. We lost ground. Do you understand that, fam? We didn't. It wasn't like we held on. It wasn't like, woo, we survived Hurricane Obama. No, we had our infrastructure shit wiped the fuck out. We had the island smashed by Hurricane Obama. But the worst part about it is that he told us that that was what his agenda was, and we didn't believe him. We did not believe him. Fam, how many times does the Democrats get to tell us that they're not going to be coming out in full-throated, full-bore support of ADOS in our interest before we say, well, you know what? We ain't coming out in your interest. Don't ask us for our vote because it is not forthcoming. This question, fam, that I'm asking is not rhetorical. It is probably easily politically the most important question that we as ADOS will have to answer. When do we cut bait? When do we cut bait, right? If y'all are going to vote down ballot for 2020, okay, I'm with that. I don't agree, but that's cool, right? I support it. I support Yvette and Tone. That's fine. I have no problem with you voting down ballot, okay? If that's what you feel like you need to do in 2020, that's between you and the ballot box. As long as the ballot is still secret, you can do whatever the fuck you want in that ballot box or not. But my question still stands. At what point, since we've been asking them to fish, at what point do we cut bait? At what point, right? Like, this question that Mark Black is asking is not about Mark Black, and this question will not go away. I would argue that it is easily the most preeminent political question that we as a people, as a tribe, have to answer. When is it that we decide that our interests reign supreme over any connection to any politician or political party? That our interests outweigh everything else? Because it's easy to say the rhetoric. And the data suggests that we need to be putting our interests before everything else. But when it comes time to live the rhetoric, when it comes time to stand and prove, that's where the rubber meets the road. And that's where you're going to see what constitutes a lot of waffling, a lot of reticence, a lot of hesitation. Because this is the most important question. When does ADOS's interests trump everything else? Because once our interests trump everything else, we will not be engaging with the Democrats. I can guarantee you that, because there is no incentive, none whatsoever, to engage with them. We make all these assessments about the Republicans, but those same assessments hold for the Democrats. The Republicans won't come talk to us, or they think this and they think that, whatever the case may be, right? We make all these assessments about the Republicans. We feel comfortable doing that. Mark Black is asking you to make the same calculus for your beloved Democrats, because the same questions obtains. The data doesn't change. At some point, if we're going to press home this justice claim, our interests have to reign supreme over whatever letter goes before a politician's name, or goes after, I should say, right? It's the facts. That's the facts. 425-296-1980, fam. The lines are open. This isn't my broadcast. This is ours. And, the cool man, I'm going to be honest with you. When the computer broke down, I told Miss Denny, I said, I'm taking the L on this broadcast. Prove me wrong, fam. That's all I'm asking. If this strategy is truly the strategy to take, explain it to me. Make it make sense. Because how are we supposed to show them we mean business by continuing to do the same damn thing we've been doing ever since we've been interacting with them? Caller from 903, it's your man Mark Black. Is this a Black Man 903?
Mark, this is such a great show. It really is.
Hey, peace, fam.
Peace too. For me, the 9-year-old thing, the 9-year-old person that you talked about earlier, the DNC thing on CNN, was very weird to me in terms of, you're only 9.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth Warren said, I will let you pick out who that person that you want to represent your ideas and your thoughts. And we have a black man that's killed, and the wife can't even express to the senator, the governor, the mayor, anybody, what she wants done to the police and just killed her husband.
Yeah.
And you're telling me at 9 years old, you have that kind of power as the LGBTQ person over a descendant of a slave who's been here forever and a day. It's so wild to me at this point.
I'm floored, fam.
The worst part is when I was 9 years old, I was watching the 49ers play against the Dallas Cowboys and the Cats with Joe Montana. I wasn't thinking nothing about being those. How do you get that much sexuality in you at 9 years old?
That's what I'm stressing, fam. Like, I can't understand it. I'm just going to keep it a buck. When I was 9 years old, man, I was playing with G.I. Joes and my motherfucking Star Wars action figures, dolls. But they were mine, right? You see what I'm saying? I wasn't thinking about no sex shit or whether I'm a boy or a girl.
I'm saying from my point of view. The only way you get to that point is if you're taught that point. Somebody taught you that. If kids in South Central LA say it all the time, I may not have been born that way, but I was taught it because it's where I lived. Somebody had to teach you that kind of sexuality. I don't know. I watched the whole thing. I watched all of them talk about it. Buttigieg, all of them. I watched it all.
Yeah.
The common factor that still stood out to me is that when you are an ADOS person, a straight male, straight woman, you have no platform. The LGBT community has stolen your civil rights. They have stolen everything that we worked for back in the past. And illegal immigration.
Yep.
All their standpoint on that.
Yep. That's just facts. When a goddamn undocumented, now I'm not going to say undocumented, when an illegal alien can walk up into your capital, right? Your nation's capital, walk up the stairs into the house, walk to a congressman's door, start banging on the door and protest it and not immediately be arrested. You know what I'm saying? And not only not be arrested, but get their voice heard and you do the same thing and they ignore you, that's a fucking problem, fam.
Did you see when all those protesters were at the CNN thing? They were disrupting it. I've never seen that much disruption and nobody get arrested in my life.
Wait a minute. Hold up a second, fam. You remember that speech that I told you about that Donald Trump made down in Virginia, right? At the Virginia state capitol, and where he honored our ancestors. He talked about the history of Virginia and all that other shit, right? Everybody was silent or clapping during his whole speech. He started talking about black folk, and all of a sudden he gets disrupted. But guess who it was that disrupted his speech?
Let me guess.
It was a damn immigrant that jumped up and started talking about, you know what I'm saying, Donald Trump is racist, he's getting immigration, this, that, and the third. He wasn't talking about immigration. He was talking about the contribution of my ancestors to the founding of Virginia and honoring them. And these bastards felt perfectly comfortable jumping up and disrespecting the president of the United States when he started speaking on us. Let that sink in, fam. Let that sink in for you. Everybody, every demographic in this country, whether they vote Republican or Democrat, feels perfectly fine disrespecting you politically, economically, and the whole 9 yards.
Right. I'm telling you, it was one of the most difficult things I ever watched, because I know in my heart of hearts, if a black man had done anything close to that, we would have been put down in a heartbeat, tased, pepper sprayed, choked out, and taken out.
Absolutely. You saw what happened. You saw what happened to Brother Jamion, right?
You see Don Lemon? He was like, hey, hold on. Give me the mic. Let me talk to you. Oh, hold on. Let me give you the mic back. And it was like really
This is Looney Tunes, fam. You saw what happened to Brother Jamion. He goes up. Now, Jamion's been everywhere. All of these Democratic presidential candidates have seen him, right?
Great point.
And so he's got his camera out. He goes up to Bernie Sanders to yet again talk to this lousy bastard about our justice claim. And what happened? They start manhandling the brother and pushing his ass out of there. And then later on, after the fact, tried to justify the manhandling of our brother by saying his phone looked like a weapon. So he goes into a public event for Democrats to ask a candidate for his vote to speak up yet again, to give him another opportunity, even though he shot on us at every opportunity he could, to give him yet another opportunity to speak up for us and to speak to our agenda. And he not only does not even get his points addressed, but gets manhandled, disrespected, and ushered out of the fucking forum. And then told that he's lucky that he didn't get worse than what he got because his phone looked like a weapon.
I'm lucky. In other words, you lucky you didn't get shot tonight.
Exactly. They told Jamion he was lucky he didn't get killed. Because that's standard operating procedure to protect the senator.
But Don Lemon and the Anderson Cooper both, they did both the same thing. Oh, let them speak. We're a community of free speech and protest and all that kind of stuff. But whenever we do that kind of protest, we get shut down so bad. And I'll let you leave with this. And you know how I am. You know what I'm about, right?
Yeah.
And I was disappointed the other night because I called you that too, you know. And my first point was trying to get her on the bandwagon or let her know about, hey, the whole conference was great. I'm like you. The whole conference was good. But you know what we didn't talk about? We still didn't talk about weaponry. We still don't talk about protecting ourselves. We still don't talk about what we can do when we have discussions with the police, when they come talking to us, or when they stop us on the traffic stop. We still need that kind of education as well. I think it still is important. And I've seen all these people in the chat, and she said as well. An AR costs, $600. No, it doesn't. You can go to Saratech and get one for $280. And this is what I wish you would have stood there and said to me. Well, I understand what you're saying. Are you down with the movement? Yes, ma'am, I am. I am down. That's why I told her afterwards. I said, the movement is bigger than you and what's that other lady, Marianne Williamson.
Yeah.
I said, the movement is going to be about ADOS. And this is where me and you might differ a little bit, Mark, because I'm still sitting there saying you got to mark your territory wherever you go. So when you go to that thing, you put that ADOS tag out.
Absolutely.
And let them know. If you go up with a shirt and say the ADOS tag on your shirt.
Now,
and that way,
I'm going to say something real quick, fam. Hold up.
See that.
Hold up a second, fam, because Pretty Muslima brought up a good point. Pretty Muslima, do you know why I like having you in the chat? And I hope you keep coming back. Because one of the things that I always tell us, fam, and you know this, I tell you, don't wait for a savior. Be the savior that we looking for. Fam, you need to be getting up there and teaching as much as you possibly can about self-defense. I've actually done videos where I talked about arming yourself. I talked about engagement ranges. I talked about small unit tactics and how to maneuver through our communities, like small operating units and things like that, right? Like, she's right. Yvette can't cover every topic. You know what I'm saying?
Earlier in the chat, I said that same person went to that school and taught that what do you call it, that transgender reading book stuff?
Yeah.
What do you call it, drag queens?
Yeah, drag queens or whatever, yeah.
All right, drag queens that read that same book will not have me up there teaching gun safety at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It won't happen. And that's what they're saying. That's the part that makes me so angry when I talk to others in our community. I told you this a million times before. I went to a gun show today, and I was the only black guy in there again.
I believe it.
I get so tired of that.
I believe it.
So tired of that.
When I go buy firearms, fam, I'm literally the only black head up in the whole place. I'm serious. When I went to go get my pistol, right? I got my permit. I had done everything. I got everything all straight. White dude standing behind me. He's like, "What'd you get?" I said, "Oh, I got an MP5 police model." You know what I'm saying? He said, "Oh, I like that, man, with the trigger safety." We started talking about guns, right? I'm the only black head up in there. You see what I'm saying? The only one.
Right.
But wait a minute. Ida B. Wells told us that a gun, she used the rifle, right? The Winchester rifle. She said the Winchester rifle should have the place of honor in every black household to ensure that we get the justice that we don't get from the courts. That has not changed, fam. It's not like our ancestors didn't understand that we need to engage politically, that we need to use rhetoric, that we need to use dialogue, and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, if your ass is dead, you can't use none of that.
But I want them to understand, but that's what I want Yvette to understand. Now, hey, even though I own guns, and I'm a pretty conservative dude on the most part, but I'm still with y'all. I'm still down to move it.
Fam, there's so many of our conservative...
AR costs $600 and this and that. You don't know anything about ARs. Talk to the dude who does it on a daily.
Fam, let me tell you, fam. Let me tell you, fam. The thing that's going to shock, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. The thing that's going to shock most ADOS is just how many so-called conservative brothers and sisters that are on board with this justice claim. It's going to blow a lot of motherfuckers' minds because I'm lucky I get to engage with everybody because Mark Black has made it clear. I don't care what your religion is. I don't care what your circumstances are. If you are my tribesmen, you are welcome here. If you're my tribes people, you are welcome, right? So I've got conservatives, I got religious folk, I got non-religious folk, I got gay folk, I got everybody, right? And I can engage with a whole lot of folk. And what will blow many of your minds is how many conservative black folk are on board with us pressing home this justice claim, fam. I'm telling you, we do ourselves a disservice by refusing to talk across the so-called aisle. You feel me?
Thank you. That's the only reason I called the show. Because when I first found you, that's the only reason I called, because you said something like that. Like, no, he's not. So when I called you, you're like, yeah, I'm down with that. Okay, that's fine. I was like, no way. You were like, yeah, that's okay, that's fine. But you're here for us? Yeah. But that gave me that back in return. And that's why I was like, damn, come on now.
You know what, fam? Here's what I'm
called me and said, hey, I want you to be my security at arms at,
Here's what I'm going to say, though, fam. I want you to understand this. I don't think it's personal, right? Not every black person has a lot of facility with weapons, first of all. There's a lot of folk in our communities that have been, we came through the crack era, man, and we saw drive-bys and all sorts of crazy shit happen, right, when we've had access to guns. You feel me? So there's a lot of black folk who are automatically reticent when you start talking about arms. That's gonna be a matter of education and kind of overturning some of the entrenched ideas that we have when it regards firearms. But there's another element too of it to consider too as well. Fam, look at what happens when black people do take up arms to defend themselves. Historically, those brothers and sisters have paid a hell of a price, right? And a lot of now I'm gonna keep it a full buck. A lot of black people, a lot of us, we ain't ready to pay that price, right? We're not ready to be that person that may be the one to give all. Now, I'm just gonna keep it a buck. I'm not saying that everybody should be, but what I am saying is that there's quite a few hurdles that we're going to need to overcome that weren't yesterday in being created, right? These hurdles have been set on us as far as our understanding of the proper use of firearms, firearm safety, gun safety, and then of course with our support of the Democrats, and they're always talking about gun control and stuff like that, right? A lot of us talk about gun control and we don't even, you know what I'm saying, like question it. We don't even, you know, it's like, well, that's what the Democrats want. I support that, right? So we've got a whole host.
How many times have I ever called you and sit there and said, how much of my diet, especially during wintertime, comes from natural meat that I've shot out in the woods? How many times have I called you and told you that?
At least 4.
That's what puts me so. That's what puts me so back in the backseat with Yvette sometimes, because she doesn't listen to all that. And I want.
But my thing is, fam, is I don't think that's personal.
Else.
I don't think that's personal. One of the things that I've learned as a broadcaster, as an advocate for ADOS, is I have to meet people where they are. Right? I got people that come into my chat who tell me straight up, I'm suspect, I'm an agent. They come in my comments and make bad comments about me. Fam, a lot of what I do has to do with education and being forbearing. My people have been traumatized. My people have been brutalized. If their aggression sometimes bleeds over towards their brother, I have enough love for them, enough grace for them to forbear, to say, you know what?
Well, I appreciate it.
You know, I'm telling you, fam, it's a gift. It's a gift and a blessing to have the understanding of ADOS that I have, because it means that my family, they're my family. Whether they're traumatized or not, don't matter, right? I have to meet my family where they are. I have to heal them where they are. Sometimes I'm going to have to say, hey, fam, this isn't the way. And when I got to be like that, then I'm not going to apologize for being like that. But most times I can find a place to stand with every one of our tribe's people. And I want you to take that with you. I think your aim, your goal in educating our people about the need to being able to protect ourselves and to protect our individual selves, our families, our communities, and ultimately our tribe. I think that is a fight that needs to be fought on a daily basis. And I respect that you keep bringing it up. Do more.
I appreciate that. I don't mean to be the gun guy.
No. I want you to be the gun. You misunderstand me, fam. I want you to be the gun guy. I want you to be more than the gun guy that calls in. I want you to be the gun guy who's committing before the end of the year of starting a gun safety class where you are, and teaching some ADOS people how to handle weapons, teaching our sisters and our brothers how to break down and field strip an AR, how to adjust the sights and get proper sight picture and proper sight alignment, how to breathe before they squeeze off a shot, and the whole 9 yards. I want you to be the gun guy. We need the gun guy, and you need to be him, is what I'm saying. Fam, I'm not trying to squelch you. I want you to do more of what you're doing.
No. I'm saying the first time I was ever in the chat, and I was talking about, guns and so on, and I was talking about owning silencers or suppressors, which are really commonly known as. Miss Denny was the only one that sit there and told everybody he's not a troll. He's telling you where he comes from as truth.
Absolutely. Hey, look, you got a sister right there. Pretty Muslim.
That wasn't even in that mind frame. That's the only reason I ever called and was sitting there like, when you gonna get a phone? When you gonna get a phone call?
You don't have to You don't have to justify shit to me. I want you to call. I want you to be the gun guy. You've already got people in the chat who's supporting you. Understand, Breaking Brown, she's going to operate on a different level politically than sometimes we can, right? This is why I keep continually saying I have nothing but the utmost of respect for Yvette Carnell and Antonio Ward, because they have to operate in rarefied air. See, me, I'm a nobody, so I can get grimy. I can be the black sheep. I can say the shit that perhaps they can't say. That's not to harp on them or to disrespect them or anything like that, but they have to operate in a different sphere, right? So I'm not expecting perfection or for them to embrace everything that I say or anything like that. But when I have an opinion, I'm going to express it. When I see possibly a different way or a different way of looking at things, then I need to be able to express that. You feel me? And that is what being the black sheep is all about, fam. So no, you don't have to justify yourself to nobody. We need the gun guy. We need that guy
All right.
who's going to be able to break
All
it
right.
down for us.
All right, I appreciate you, Mark. I'll talk to you
Absolutely,
later.
fam. I appreciate you as always, man. You take it easy, bro.
Peace.
Peace. Fam, I appreciate y'all in the chat, man. Like I said, we don't wait for the savior of ADOS to come. Be the savior we've been waiting for. If you know legal shit, we need your expertise. If you know gun safety and firearms and all of that stuff, we need the gun guy, right? The gun gal. We need everybody. I keep trying to tell you, fam, that this fight for our justice claim is on such a broad battlefront, right? That any one of us can literally step up there anytime and find a spot, get in where we fit in, and start to go to war. I mean that figuratively, okay? Right? We can start to do work. You feel me? We can start to do work. Everybody got a place here. The gun guys got a place. The legal sister, the one who's trained paralegal, like myself, I'm a trained paralegal, right? We got our place. Broadcasters have their place. Students have their place. Everybody's got their place. We are fortunate, fam, to have been presented by Antonio and Yvette with this lens that allows us to be able to have this space to cleave to each other, to cleave to our heritage, our lineage, and be able to press home with one voice this justice claim. Are we going to have disagreements? Yep. You know why? Because we're family. Family gonna disagree. But you know what family do when they disagree? They talk it out and then they hug it out. I've said my piece on the down ballot thing. I'm done talking about it. You know what I'm saying? For now, and keep moving forward, I got nothing but love for my sister and my brother. Period. That's it. You see what I'm saying? They gave birth to this thing. We the baby they gave birth to. Respect, right? But sometimes the baby had to say, no, mama, right? And I'm saying, no, I don't agree with this down ballot strategy. But this is the last broadcast that I'm going to address it on. Moving forward, like I said, I think I've established clearly at least my chain of logic, right? I talked about sunk cost fallacy. I've talked about how it's the equivalent of us being in a bad relationship. We got to know when it's time to pack up our shit and leave, right? The Democrats have made it clear to us that if we don't do something new, something they've never seen before, they're not going to give us anything. We're getting short shrift with them. It's as simple as that. If you want to keep continuing to get disrespected and to keep getting backburnered for DACA, Dreamers, gay rights, LGBTQIA, whatever, LMNOP, you want to keep getting backburnered for them, keep fucking with the Democrats. That's all it is to it. If you want to keep watching your communities drink poison water, breathe poison air, have no jobs, have brothers and sisters locked up under mass incarceration so that you can see your brother after he get out 20 years from now on a low-level drug charge. If you want to continue to see all of that, keep fucking with the Democrats. You want to continue to see politicians that when you go to talk to them, they run from you or act like they don't know who you are, but yet a 9-year-old could come walking up in their office who's a boy in a dress and can get a full-on meeting with cameras and everything, right? You want to keep seeing that, keep fucking with the Democrats. Because I've always said to you, fam, that when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. That's all you have to do, ADOS. This doesn't have to be a long, drawn out discussion. This doesn't have to be a bunch of rancorous back and forth talk. The Democrats have made it clear where we stand with them. They have worked overtime to try to find new voting demographics to buttress their numbers. Why do you think they're supporting immigration so hard? Why do you think that they're against H-1B elimination, H-1B visa elimination? Why do you think that they can mention something about open borders and all 9 of the candidates up on stage put their hands up and they can get away with it? Why do you think? Because they've known that you are a captive vote for them. That no matter what they say, no matter what inanity that they support this week, whether it's sexualizing children and talking about the transgender status of 7-year-olds, or having, men go into women's bathrooms, or more fucking abortions, or, free healthcare and free education for everybody when we never had really access to good healthcare and good education, right? More universal bullshit as opposed to addressing us directly. Believe them. Believe them. They've told you. I'm not saying go to the Republicans. If that's not your bag, that's not your bag, right? I get it. But damn it, don't think you have a duty and obligation to somehow just blow a vote because it's time to vote. No, family, I'm going to leave you with this. As a gun owner, right? As a firearm owner, do you know the most important thing that I need to know? The most important thing I need to know as a weapon bearer, right? As a firearm owner, is when to keep my firearm holstered. I have the power to defend myself against anybody who comes up on me. I've got at least, on average, 15 to 20 reasons why they don't want to fuck with me. But I have to know when to exercise that power. The hardest choice, the most important thing that I have to do as a firearm owner is to know when I need to pull it and when I need to keep it holstered. We, as ADOS, have a weapon, a political weapon that is called the ballot. Think of it as a political bullet, right? If we were to have a war over a particular issue, ballots is how we determine what side would likely win the war, right? So it's not a stretch to consider your ballot your weapon, your gun. But the most important thing that you can know about your vote is when to pull it and when to leave it holstered. And on that, fam, as always, I want to thank all of you for participating in the broadcast. Those of you who participated in the chat, I've got some new faces here. Yandria, welcome to the broadcast. I hope you stay a while. Pretty Muslima, I love you, sis. Thank you for being here, and salam to you. Please keep coming. And to all of you other angry black sheep who consistently support your man's work and his efforts, words fail me. Y'all know where y'all stand with me. So, fam, until the next time, as always, I want to wish you all love, peace, prosperity, and power. Real power to our people.